What is a father? What does a father do? What does a coach, a mentor, when God takes you into these environments to become an agent of change in the marketplace, what does it mean to father those, mother those, love those that are in positions of authority or positions of influence? Well, the first thing is a father is one who foresees the problem and becomes the answer. He foresees the problem and becomes the answer. By nature, the word father is one who sees in advance and begins to plan in advance. And that's exactly what Joseph did. Joseph had the ability to have insight, foresight, and sight to see what was about to take place. Fathers also lay a foundation and become a cornerstone. They're willing to get their hands dirty. They're willing to lay down their life. And in order to do what you do, you've got to lay a foundation and become the cornerstone. These things don't happen overnight. It takes time to develop that kind of rapport with the community, with those that you're working with, those who you employ. A father figure builds an altar and becomes the sacrifice. I want you to think about that for just a moment. We build it. We build an altar and we say, listen, I'm going to lay down my life for those that will come after me. David couldn't build the temple, but he resourced his son Solomon to build the temple. For some of us, some of the vision that we have is much greater than our lifetime. The vision that God has for some of you is beyond the time that you have left. And so the reality is, in order for this to be accomplished, I don't know if you remember this, but we just saw this last weekend when they opened up masses in the Cathedral of Notre Dame after the big fire that took place in Paris. The Cathedral of Notre Dame was started many, many years before when it was built. So the planners of the Cathedral of Notre Dame planned to build. And what's interesting is it took 500 years to build the Cathedral of Notre Dame originally, 500 years. What that meant was they had to begin to put things in place for a generation that would come after them and a generation that would come after them to be able to build what they were building. And as a matter of fact, they sowed seeds for those big timbers, those big trusses that burned during the fire. They couldn't bring them like we can today. So they had to plant the seeds for those trees so that hundreds of years later, by the time they needed those roofing trusses, that they would be there and they would be big enough. And they had to believe that people would cultivate what it is that they were building. Because builders not only build buildings, but they build builders while they're building buildings.